Hi everybody, we're on Mount Shasta and it's beautiful and magical, and we're here with our reishi mushroom friend. Look at how big it is! And this is Solomon and Katie Lynn. What's your last name, Katie?
Warnsdorfer.
I don't know, it took me 5 million times to get it right, but it's a cool last name. So we wanted to talk to you guys about traveling and being nomadic, because we were next to each other on the campsite, and we both realized that we're here doing the same thing. We're kind of on this quest for what we don't know, other than maybe a new place to ground in, maybe not, we're not sure. And then we came on a walk and had a really beautiful talk up here and met this magical mushroom. And I wish, maybe when we're done I'll show you, but there's this whole hunk that we've taken pieces off of and eaten. But you knew it was safe to do, so we don't recommend just eating mushrooms you find in the woods.
Without some previous knowledge.
So how did you learn about mushrooms?
Studied microbiology at West Virginia University and just started mushroom hunting in the forest there.
Mm-hmm. One thing I've noticed about people who deal with mushrooms is that you guys have this deep love for mushrooms. It's kind of like people who grow marijuana. It's the same thing. You like fall in deep love with these plants, because you grow your own mushrooms too, right? When you're grounded in a place, you grow mushrooms.
Yeah, I have. I just gave my shiitake mushrooms and oyster mushroom logs away to a friend.
Were you sad?
I know. Actually, I was pretty happy because they're getting a beautiful culvert and just perfect conditions to fruit in. So it was. It was a happy goodbye. I was like, okay, they're going to be taken care of.
That's good.
With a lot of love.
Yeah. Yeah, she's here outside the camera. I think she's resting. So we walked up from the campsite. There's a spring on the way, so we'll fill up our water on the way back down. And let's talk for a little bit about travel and about, because both of us ended up being nomadic without necessarily wanting to. I don't know, I thought about it a little and kind of wanted to, and then the universe made me do it.
Exactly. I opposed it to the universe in curiosity about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, and then thought of it, questioned it, of course, because I had a child and just aged.
Where's my walking tick, though?
But like when it came down to it, it was like,
where's my walking tick?
I was when I realized that this was what was going to be happening, it was just like pure acceptance and just like, wow. What an opportunity to go see and travel and be with these places, and it's a great time of year. The weather is really comfortable.
It's not too hot.
No.
What do you need, Solomon?
He wants to get his walking stick.
Where is it? Is it right
He
there?
left it up at the trail.
Oh.
Solomon brought a walking stick with him that he left up the trail.
So a lot of people would say, do you want some mushroom? A lot of people would say, oh, well, I can't be nomadic because I have a child, or because whatever else. But you were saying the first cross-country trip you guys went on a couple years ago, and he was 2.5, it was easier than staying at home.
It was easier than, it was a lot easier than day-to-day life, because when day-to-day life when you're experiencing something new, it's not hard to pull up that authentic interest in what's going on. And so I found it really easy and inspiring just to be like, wow, look at all these amazing things. Look, here are plateaus. Here are these plains. I've only seen these in textbooks or from the air in an airplane. And just like to be walking through them.
Yeah, and there's a lot to do and a lot to experience. And what I'm finding is, especially after staying in the tent, and I did pack up the tent this morning and I got it back in the bag. I've had people say, you can never get the tent back in the bag. You can get the tent back in the bag. You just have to go slow and press the air out.
Yes.
And ask the tent if it'll go back in the bag. I find that makes all the difference. Would you please go back in the bag for me? Thanks. It's fossil fuels. It was alive once. So what I found yesterday evening looking around my tent as I was getting ready to go to sleep is that it's really a tiny little house, and all of the other stuff, the furniture, the electronics in a bigger house does not make it better. It's just different, and you spend your time doing different things.
Yeah, I agree with that. It brings about it's sort of interesting, and I've gone through this debate because you're starting out with nothing, in a rental moving across the country, where it's just you learn to do without, and then you learn to pull these.
Oh, there goes our mic.
Keep talking. It's okay.
Yeah. So
you pull these things in, and you're like, why you establish the space, like what you're building and creating the space for. And I'm sure you've experienced it too, and seeing just how other people arrange their houses. And just like, there's just so many different styles and ways to facilitate how you want to use the space.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're in nature, you don't have to provide everything because it's right there. You can go and lay out on a log. You could go and lay out on the bed.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is when you're in... It's okay. It looks great, I think. He made a house for the cat yesterday out of sticks and logs and stuff, and he's surveying to see how it's been doing overnight. One thing I find is when I'm in nature and if I'm really connected and I want to find a place to sit or lay, if I sit or lay on a log or a rock, it's perfectly ergonomic.
It is.
Do you find that too?
Yes.
It's like the world just morphs for you. And then I was thinking, I bet if a really tall person were to come do this, it would have morphed for them too. You know? We're almost done. We'll be over there in a second. We're still recording, honey. I think that means it's probably time to sign off, but I'm so glad that we met. We're brainstorming lots of cool things, like maybe starting a clothing line, maybe, we're not sure, retreats and stuff like that, which are always fun. So, yeah, we will see what happens in the future, but thank you, and thank you. Oh, one more thing, how did we find the mushroom? We were walking up here looking for some caves, which we didn't find, but we found this beautiful clearing instead, which I think is just as good or better. And there were some awesome cloud chips above us that were super obvious. And I saw a fairy, which is just a little wake in the air, like a teeny one though, drifting toward this way. I said, oh, there was a fairy there. And she said, oh, interesting. We talked about it for a second. And then you just had curiosity to come look over this part of the tree, right?
I did. I sort of just, right after, we were on the other side of the tree, and so as I was starting to walk up and around, I saw the fairy come by and fly by that way too, the waves.
Yeah.
And then as I walked around, I saw this big, giant mushroom. Just
gigantic. And we've been crazy detoxing since eating this thing. And I've never eaten anything that tasted like this before. It's almost like chicken. It reminds you of chicken, but it's soft and tender and delicious. And I would eat it now, but I'm not in the least bit hungry because I've been detoxing since
Me
eating
too. We had quite a bit.
Yeah, but it definitely has a personality, and it's lovely.
And it's a nice shell mushroom, and this one particularly is very, very soft-skinned on the top. Some of the reishis with their foots, they'll be really hard, and you typically aren't able to eat the flesh.
Oh.
You can only make a tincture
Even
out
when
of
they're
it.
fresh?
Yeah, this one's really fresh. This is extremely fresh growth.
Oh yeah, it's so funny because how often do you just take something and eat it right there? Especially a mushroom.
I know, and such a huge mushroom. I remember you commenting, we each took from separate sides, and we were like, this is Alice in Wonderland.
One side makes you bigger, one side makes you smaller. Don't sit on the mushroom.
And the Lily,
Does
her
look like a
cat,
cherry.
came and jumped on top and nibbled at it too.
She had some too. We didn't know if it'd be okay, but it totally was. So yeah, good trip. So thank you, Mount Shasta, for hosting us. Here, I'll give you guys a view of what we're looking at. So here is a close-up of the mushroom. That's what we ate yesterday, the big handfuls. And then there's Lily and the mountain. And see how what time do you think it is right now?
9 or 10?
9 or 10, yeah. And so this is the beautiful sunlight and all the moss and awesomeness. And yeah, what is our campground? It was Panther Meadows that we camped at. These things exist. It's totally free to camp there. It's 3-night maximum, I mean.
3-night maximum.
Yeah. So you just come and camp and bring your tent or not, and these things exist. Heaven is already here, you guys. All you have to do is find it. All right, much love. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Someone?